He is an off-putting sight. Most of his face is bandaged, but the exposed areas are a mess of festering sores and flaking skin. You dread to think what the bandages are hiding. There we go. You've earned a skill point. Open the skill tree. This game is crazy! What up, everybody? It's Cinco with SpinCycle Gaming. This game is all about creating swords, from my understanding, and there's a story mode to it, so we're gonna find out as we go along. In cloying darkness, you arrive. You cling to life by the tips of your fingers. Something takes shape in the emptiness. Contours of flesh tracing along familiar lines. A withered old woman's face floating before your own. When she speaks, she has the rasping voice of a raven. Who are you? A swordsmith? A survivor? A saint? You will be addressed as a male, you will be addressed as female, you will be addressed in a gender-neutral way. At times, generic masculine might be used. Dying. Wrong. It is not yet your time. The sundering claimed untold lives, yet you endured when so many around you perished. What did you do to survive? I joined a band of sellswords, forging the blades used in our butchery. When the last of them died in battle, it was time for me to start over. We built a settlement at Osterhall. I was their smith and their spokesman. For many years we held out. One by one I buried them all. I plied my trade from settlement to settlement, gathering hard-won knowledge about a world that is falling apart. I was too useful to kill. I was traded back and forth as a prize between warlords who kept me chained to a forge. When I saw my chance, I escaped. I didn't read these below. This background grants 3 finesse and may open unique dialogue choices. 3 knowledge. 3 diplomacy. 3 toughness. Finesse, baby. A cold hand touches your brow. Water cools your burning throat. You kept something through all of your hardships. A keepsake from a better time. What is it? An artisan's toolkit for creative play style. Grants a bundle of leathers and pigments for more creative freedom early on. For a story-focused play style, grants a unique family heirloom passed down through prior generations for your lineage. Or a bottle of rare old world spirit. For an optimization-focused playstyle, grants a bottle of precious liquor to boost your progress. Let's do the bottle of rare old world spirits. The fire is burning itself out, leaving you a damp shadow of your old self. You claw blindly in the darkness until more waters tip down your throat. What do you believe in? Now the voices have abandoned this world. Ambition. Humanity can rise above the voices if we learn their secrets. I believe in small things. Bread rising, seasons turning, children growing. Freedom. We're better off without the voices. Humans can adapt to anything. Compassion. Every small kindness is an act of defiance in a world without pity. Nothing matters anymore. There's peace in accepting that. Alright. Freedom. Defiant to the end. You can shake your fist all you like, mortal, but you can't stop what's coming. I'll leave you with one final question, and I don't expect an answer. What will fill the silence the voices left behind? As the old woman's face retreats into inky blackness, sparks flicker into life behind her, one by one, a field of stars burning with sickly pale light. Like seeds taking root, they twist and expand, their tendrils branching and burrowing through the darkness until they've strangled it with light. Now, Wakesmith, you still have a part to play in humanity's final act. A new day has dawned. Your eyes flutter as you regain consciousness. You're faintly surprised to find yourself alive. Either death did not come for you, or when it did, it found you unyielding. Awaken. You sit up, gasping, sweat drenched. The fever has broken. Get your bearings. You're in a tent. There's no sign of your caretaker, apart from a half-empty water pail and a damp cloth on your brow. You peek out of the tent flap, squinting against the sunlight. Outside, as far as the eye can see, stretches a chaotic sprawl of tents and shelters, churned mud and shallow graves. Most of your rations are gone. Your horse was already dying when the fever took you. Its body is nowhere to be seen, but now it's likely soup. You're on your own. Remember. For a decade, you were chained at the anvil, forging weapons for men so evil they could scarcely be called men. You were traded back and forth between warlords, too valuable to let die, until you finally seized an opportunity to escape. It was a long journey to Eren Keep. Through dust and despair, your last memories are of sliding from your dying horse, your numb legs tracking furrows in the mud as someone dragged you to shelter. But who? Outside the tent is a crude field forge, complete with an anvil. Did you crawl here in a daze, or did your mysterious caretaker bring you here? Either way, the anvil gives you a feeling of home. Assess the field forge's condition. It seems to have been abandoned for some time, lacking anyone with the skill to work it, but it won't require much effort to get running again, should you need to make a living out here. Hopefully it won't come to that. First, you should head to the gates and try to secure entry to Eren Keep. That's why you came here, after all. Thank you for playing the Bladesong demo. This short tutorial will teach you all you need to know. Please follow it. I thought that was saying that was the end of the demo. I was about to be super irritated. Alright. Welcome to the camp, Swordsmith. People will come to you with commissions. You choose which commissions to take on. Commissions refresh daily. Select the highlighted buttons to choose your first commission. Owen. When you accept a commission, you prepare a billet for your sword. Preparing this billet costs action points. Action points replenish daily. Preparing this billet also costs steel. Your first customer is a gaunt man in a tattered cloak. He approaches you, noticing the anvil outside your tent. Owen says, "You a blacksmith? Can you make me a sword?" "I've got the coin for it. Just make sure it's good and long. I don't like my enemies to be in hugging distance, if you get my meaning." Accept. Forge. Rotate the camera with right mouse button. Move the camera with the middle mouse button. Zoom in and zoom out with the mouse wheel. Use the tutorial flag in the top bar to revisit any information you've already seen. Use the tutorial flag in the top bar to revisit any of the information you've already seen. Okay, cool. So I can go through all my entries. That's actually really nice. Blade length required between 38% and 58%. Current 10%. The overall length of the blade measured from base to point. Okay, let's start shaping your blade. Click the plus button to add a change length ability. Change length. You can apply a light or heavy hammer hits to alter your blade. Let's start with light hits. Click on the steel billet to hammer the length. In order to make larger changes to your blade, you can build up strength with heavy hits. Click when the hammer is at its highest position for a heavy hit. The longer your chain of heavy hits, the more your blade changes with each hit. Okay. Do I keep going? Feel like that's pretty long. Alright. Now the blade length requirement is met. Let's flatten the blade. Click the plus button to add change thickness ability. Feel free to use light or heavy hits as you please. Hold shift for even lighter hammer hits. Okay. So it's thickness. Alright. Let's make the blade wider using the change width. Hammer a point on the sword. Usually customers won't accept a sword without a point. Yeah, that makes sense. Alright, so it won't let me go any further. That's alright. Point. The cross-section ability makes your blade sharp. Let's add it. This ability has two steps. First, you need to give the blade a sharp edge. Watch the cross-section display in the top right to get a better understanding of what's changing. Hammer until the blue line on the blade turns orange. Alright. The edge is now sharp and you can further adjust the shape of the cross-section. Keep hammering until the hexagon shape becomes a diamond. Wait. The edge is now sharp and you can further adjust the shape of the cross-section. Keep hammering until the hexagon shape becomes a diamond. Okay. Great, your blade is complete. Click the hilt mode button to start working on the hilt. Where is the hilt mode? Up here. In hilt mode, you have access to the library of sword parts to complete your sword. Select a guard from the library, then attach it to a slot on your sword. Sell sword square across. Super. So I see the 153 gold versus like 88 gold. Is that how much I'm spending or how much it's worth? Doesn't matter. For now, it doesn't matter. Oh, I should have read that. Shoot. On the bottom there, I missed it. Comment down below, let me know what it said. In hilt mode, attaching parts across in hilt mode, attaching parts costs resources. Keep an eye on the resource panel to see how much you're spending. Add a grip next. Keep an eye on the resource panel. Where is the resource panel? Cross section. Okay, here. Owned, used. Okay. I don't want that little lip. If I can avoid that. That's probably my favorite one. The customer requires a two-handed sword, so your grip section needs to be long enough. Attach a second grip part to the first. So weird because it's like air. Okay. When holding a sword part, you can cycle through them using Q and E, or the control and scroll wheel. Oh, that's nice. Every part of your sword influences its physics. Watch the height and balance meters shift as you attach a palm. Alright, so this is clearly the best for what he wants here. You can detach sword parts again by clicking on them. You get your resources back, so feel free to experiment. When you are happy with your two-handed hilt, let's make some final adjustments to the blade. I like the dark. Alright, we'll keep that even because I don't really see the difference. The ability history shows all abilities that have been used on the blade. You can use this to revisit abilities and edit or delete them. The number next to an applied ability shows its intensity. Editing abilities has no cost. Feel free to experiment. Select change width ability you added earlier. Press X to flip the direction of your hammering, then hammer to narrow the blade. Oh, that's cool. It flips it around. Alright. Perfect. The commission is fulfilled, so it's time to sell the sword. Okay, so... But where do I see what exactly he wanted? Oh, wait. Okay. Weight, no requirement. Balance, no requirement. Blade length. It's the only thing he really required. Okay. Sweet. A nameless sword has been made. The man takes a sword and jabs it at his shadow experimentally. A slow grin crosses his face. This should do the trick. Thank you, Smith. Here's your payment. Would you like to accept this offer now? 50 XP, 40... I assume that's the currency. Yeah. Congratulations on finishing your first sword. Another customer awaits. Word is already spreading around camp about the new smith. Your next customer is a wary-looking man with a bald pate, his hollow eyes darting back and forth. Landon. I heard you came down with the wasting fever. Lucky to be alive, you are. Anyway, can you modify this sword for me? I scavenged it from the ruins, but it hasn't gotten enough of a point to it. I want something I can stab into a thief's belly if I need to. He hands you a sword with a sharp edge, but a rounded tip. As you hold it up to the light, he leans forward conspiratorially. I've only had this blade 3 days, and I've felt people's jealous eyes upon it. If they come for it in the night, I want to be able to give them a short, sharp stab. Customers with repair jobs will provide you with a sword that they will want edited. These commissions don't have an initial bill of cost, so they're perfect for making some coin when you're low on resources. Okay, sweet. This customer wants his sword altered. The rounded point needs to be turned into a narrow point. Revisit the point of ability to reforge it. Oh, okay, down here. You can access the range of many abilities. The range influenced by your ability is marked with a line. Drag the circular hand to the end of this line. Hammer to apply your change. Nice work. When you fulfilled all requirements, the commission is complete and you can sell the sword. So can I do it more though? There we go. The man takes the sword and tests the point, smiling at the bead of blood that wells at his fingertip. Then he stows it away, glancing around the camp as he does so. Folks out here will take everything from you if you ain't vigilant. Keep a keen eye out, Smith. He scurries away, his back hunched as though against a non-existent downpour. You just received a scrap. Go to your inventory to inspect what you received. Salvaging turns scrap items into useful resources. This costs a small amount of action points, so it's a perfect use for leftover points at the end of the day. Hover over items to see descriptions, interact with the item to salvage it. Steel, an essential metal for sword making, necessary for forging the blade itself. Wood, a common material for sword making, used in hilts in shorter supply than it once was. A minor sword part book teaching the following sword parts: guard, sellsword, pommel. 3 more. Customers may specifically ask for designs from this book. Slave shackles, a grim reminder of your past. Melt them down and start anew. Liquid amber bliss in a cloudy glass bottle. The last surviving example of this particular vintage. You treasured it for so long, you're not sure there will be an occasion special enough to drink it. Rusty implements past the prime, only good for salvage. When your action points are spent, it's time to end the day. If you end the day with any action points left, they will be lost, so try to use them up whenever you can. Where's my action points? Here. Okay, so we'll salvage that probably tomorrow. End the day. You're done for the day? Yep. Day's profit. Okay, there we go. Outer gate. Passage into Eren's Keep is barred by a colossal gate taller than a ship's mast. It was built to withstand enemy armies, but since the Masked King's ascension, it mainly keeps out the desperate masses seeking its protection. Let's examine. Examine the magical barrier. It's only visible in the half-light of dawn, or when it pours with rain, a faint shimmer that rises from the walls and captures Eren Keep in a vast dome. Success. For a city to have survived this long past the Sundering, it must have extraordinary defenses. You've heard that some surviving outposts have guardian dragons or shrouds of impenetrable fog, but none have as perfect a protection as Eren Keep. It is as though the songs never ended. Attackers, human or otherwise, are simply unable to breach the dome. Poisonous miasmas, I don't know what that is, dissipate harmlessly against it. Plagues are kept at bay. Within this sanctuary, crops grow without withering, water runs clean, and people can sleep without fear. If such miracles can exist in a world without the voices, surely there's hope for the future. As you approach, the portcullis rises to admit a caravan, and chaos breaks out. The crowd swells like a rising tide. Refugees push forward, begging for entry, and the guards batter them back with their shields. The merchant wagons barrel through, their drivers using horsewhips to lash stragglers out of the way. Huh? What do you want? He gazes down at you like a fisherman disappointed with his catch. I want to enter the keep. You a citizen, or got yourself a worker's permit? No, I don't. Then get out of here, applicant, and stop wasting my time. Applicant. That's the euphemism the guards use to refer to the desperate hordes camping at their gate. It has a nicer ring, you suppose, than refugee. Please, I've traveled a long way and barely survived the journey I need to get through. I have useful skills, I'm a blacksmith. Every applicant who comes here begging is a doctor or a master glassmaker or a damned alchemist. You think I was born yesterday? If you're a smith, prove it. And how am I supposed to know you're telling the truth? I've got a sword too. Doesn't make me a smith. Buzz off, little fly. Head back to your tent. You return to your tent, where your makeshift forge awaits. You're hardly at your best working with such limited materials, but it's all you have for the time being. Won't be long before your cachet of steel runs out. Since it seems like you're going to be here longer than expected, you should make it a priority to find a merchant in this forsaken place. A new day has dawned. Nicely done, you finished the tutorial. From today on, you'll have more action points to spend. You won't be able to complete every commission, so pick the ones you like the sound of. The game will open up from here. Don't be afraid to explore. Here are a few resources to get you started. Oh, that's huge. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. This, I didn't know what to expect with this game, but this is, really captivating me. Okay. In the camp, almost everyone is starving. If I click off of this... Okay. So just looking at this, right off the bat, he's offering 8 and 11, so this is probably the first one I want to look at. In the camp, almost everyone is starving. The man who approaches your anvil is oddly well fed, his face fat, pink, and healthy. Well met, Smith. Can you make me a sword? Something long and vicious, sharp enough to cut bone? I've got a spot of hunting to do later. You know how it is. I'm hungry. Perhaps we could share a meal. What benefits do meals have? What kind of hunting do you do? That's a secret, my friend. If everyone knew where to find such easy prey, why, they all would succumb to temptation. And where would that leave me, with an empty fork? I'm hungry. Perhaps we could share a meal. Oh, I think not. I prefer to eat alone. Honestly, I don't have time to be judging how people are acting. Delightful. Alright. So, blade length between 14 and 34%. No requirement. No requirement. Mobility. How easily the hilt can be repositioned to defend or change stance. At least 3. At least 3. How well cross-section of the sword can cut through a target. The steep edge angle of the wide and thin blade provides the best rating. A smooth cross-section is preferable. A strong central ridge can impede the cut. At least 2 wood. One-handed. Too broad. Okay. So first, between 14 and 34%. So let's work on that first. Get it a little bit longer than the minimum. Alright. I like that length. That puts me at 23%. Now, start hammering down this thickness. Very thin. Change width. Alright, the point. Good with that. Cross section. Okay. So he needs that all the way up. So that's perfect right there. So I'm just gonna leave it right there. Needs at least 2 wood. These are all steel. Can I turn that into wood? Yes, I can. What about That's interesting. But that meets his requirements, so yeah, everything's checked. He takes a weapon with reverent hands, as if it's a sacred relic. Thank you, Smith. When night falls, I shall start my next hunt. You've earned a skill point. Open the skill tree to spend on improvements. This game is crazy. You've earned a skill point. Open the skill tree, spend on improvements. Alright. No, wait. So I probably have to use it here, huh? Swordsmithing basics. Unlocks profile taper to make blades taper in width. Unlocks distal taper to make blades taper in thickness. Sword part scaling, advanced swordsmithing. Allows you to scale swords parts. Unlocks advanced cross-sectional controls. Increases your action points by 2. Allows you to forge asymmetrical blades. That's so cool. Alright, 46, 28. Amount of action points. So I can't do anything else today. Right? Unless I go in here. I can't do that. Okay. Alright, end the day. That's a significant profit on the day. Explore Eren Keep. Camp, the outer gate. Let's explore the camp. Outside the walls of Eren Keep, desperate souls gather in makeshift tents, pleading for entry. I need to know people. Introduce yourself to the neighbors. The tents near you are mostly occupied by unfriendly, suspicious folk. They spit on the ground when you approach and ward you off with threatening gestures. There's one exception, however, a young woman who actually smiles as you approach, though her eyes are haunted and hollow set. Young woman, glad to see you're feeling better. You were on death's door for a while there. You looked after me? Not exactly. I dragged you to safety after you fell off your horse. So you're the one who nursed me back to health? No, that old woman showed up, told me she was going to look after you. I checked in now and then, but she told me you were still recovering. Where is she anyway? I haven't seen her in days. She was gone by the time I woke up, and I have no idea who she was. You just handed me over to some random stranger? No idea. Let me know if you run into her again. I'd like to thank her. She was gone by the time I woke up, and I have no idea who she was. Huh, strange. I assumed she was a relative of yours. Must have been just a kind-hearted old soul. Count your blessings. There's not many of those around in this camp. Aye, it's nice to see a friendly face around here. Lovely neighborhood, isn't it? Do you have any food? No. Friendly face. Ah, good to meet you too. And good to meet you too. Name's Chev, short for Chevenna. But only my mother calls me that, and she's been dead for 10 years. She's painfully thin and covered in grime, much like everyone else in the camp. She's the first person you've seen smile, though. What do you imagine goes on in Eren Keep? I'm starting to forget what civilization used to look like. As long as it's better than here, I don't care what it's like. In Eren Keep, everyone eats like an emperor, and the streets are paved with beer. It's safe in there. The Masked King looks after his people. It's somewhere you can set up shop, build a real business, not just scrape by. She's gonna be looking for safety, so I assume. Yeah, well, safety is a fair bit better than what we've got out here, isn't it? She lapses into silence. Somewhere in the distance, a scream rings out. You both try to ignore it. Do you know anyone selling materials I could use for my forge? I heard someone say that there's a scrap peddler in the Lost City selling all sorts of things. Be careful if you go to the Lost City, though. That place gives me the shivers. Before you can leave, Chev grabs your arm. There's a wild desperation in her eyes. I've been stuck out here for weeks, and not everyone in camp is as friendly as you. Not sure how much longer I can last. Can you do me a favor? If you get into Eren Keep before me, find a fellow named Lucas Boreana. He's my uncle. If he knew I was out here, he'd help me. I'm sure of it. Of course, I'll let him know you're here. You really think I'll get him before you? You've been here longer than I have. I won't make any promises, Eren. Yeah, of course, I'll let him know you're here. Thank you. She rubs her eyes. Look at me, getting my hopes up. Lucas Boreana. Remember the name. Chev lifts her hand in a farewell as you walk away from her tent. Her smile is as fragile as porcelain. We need to start finding food, but... yeah, let's scavenge for food. The tragedy of the applicant's camp is indescribable. So is the smell. There are no sewers out here, and not everyone bothers to go to the outskirts to use the latrines. Tuckered away from the squalor, you find a pocket where desperation hasn't completely taken hold. Children are playing in the mud. A few scrawny chickens peck at the ground, miraculously uneaten. As you pick your way through, wary eyes track your movement from tent flaps, some calling out to alert their neighbors to the presence of a newcomer. At the center of this little commune, you find a family crouched around a huge cooking pot, simmering with meats and scrounged vegetables. A little girl tosses a handful of wild herbs into the stew. Your mouth waters. Approach them. A father and mother, a gaggle of children, a grandmother with a face like an ancient apple, even a dog rolling on its back in the dirt, tongue waggling. They're rough-looking sorts, filthy and gaunt, but you're not exactly presentable yourself these days. As you get closer, the man twitches aside his cloak to reveal a heavy wooden club. His wife's hands dart to a dagger in her belt. The dog snarls, hackles raised. They all looked at you carefully, awaiting your next move. I'm not petting the dog, it's gonna bite me. Give me your food, don't make me ask twice. I'm not a jerk. Introduce yourself. Bearded man. Ho there, stranger. Name's Bennett Maunder. This here's my wife, Trion, and her ma, Gaida. I can take you through the names of the nippers too if you like, but I get 'em mixed up myself. The young woman smiles wanly, withdrawing her hand from the dagger's hilt. The old woman just nods, her expression lost in a mass of wrinkles. The children cluster behind their father, peeping at you and giggling. And this mutt's name is Clodo. He's a good boy, keeps the vultures away. With the word vultures, Bennett's expression darkens. Clodo sneezes disdainfully. Vultures? Aye, human vultures. He doesn't elaborate further, but his shoulders stiffen. Pleasure to meet you. I'll see you later. Guys, you gotta know when to hold them, when to fold them. Petting the dog, I'm losing that hand. What's in the pot? They already are not being cool with me. Like, they see me as an aggressor. So let's just keep this as a pleasant interaction for the most part and walk away. Away from the Maunders, the atmosphere of the camp reasserts itself. Unfriendly glares, distant sobbing. You draw your coat close around yourself and hurry back to your tent. Let's look around the camp. The camp is an appalling spectacle, an ocean of mud and flies, with gaunt men and women scraping a living amid the filth. Not far from your tent, recent rains have swept away the soil on a mass grave, exposing glints of yellow bone. Only the rats are well fed. Only the rats are well fed out here. Return to your tent. You climb into your bedroll, massaging your swollen joints and trying to ignore the rumbling in your belly. Maybe tomorrow will be a better day. A new day has dawned. A few hours past midnight, you're woken by a soft, silken hiss. A blade slices through the fabric of your tent. The fabric falls away to reveal a pair of gleaming eyes, a crescent of yellow teeth, a gaunt figure with a knife in his hand. He steps carefully into your tent, apparently thinking you asleep. Behind him are the dim shapes of other men. Each night you bury your tools and your coin in a new location. There's not much in the tent they can steal, but they don't look like the types who'd be happy if they don't find anything worthwhile. Okay, so I can pretend to be asleep, but honestly, I don't know how that helps me. Nobody's gonna come help me if I scream for help. Maybe acknowledging them right away and with a threatening gesture. That's honestly like my best bet, I feel like. Don't take one more step. The man freezes, his grin widening. Oh, awake easier. Might be easier this way. Hand over your coins, food, anything you got. His companions enter the tent behind him, 3 more men, all rail-thin and desperate. The leader takes a menacing step closer. I have nothing worth stealing. Take what you want, just don't hurt me. You picked the wrong tent. I make swords. You think I can't defend myself? It's a 4-on-1. There's 3 men behind him. Nothing worth stealing. That's believable. Nice try. We know you're a blacksmith. You've got money somewhere. He nods to his companions, who begin rummaging through your meager possessions. But they don't have any luck. Your coins and tools are buried beyond their reach. Where's your stuff? Tell us or I cut your throat. Stop waving that toothpick in my face. You think you scare me, you scrawny runt? I don't know if I want to be aggressive. Wait, I can offer you something much more valuable. I swear I have nothing else. Buried it all. Show you where. I'm not going to acknowledge that. After him threatening, is this the % chance of it working? 50-50 is a gamble. Wait, I can offer you something much more valuable. Let's go with the gamble. You know what? Screw it. How much worse can it get? Failure. I knew better! The thief laughs, waving his dagger in your face. Try me, Smith. Don't matter how tough you are when you've got a knife in your guts. I swear I have nothing else. This thief strikes you across the face with the back of his hand, hard enough to rattle your skull. Liar, I ain't stupid. You've buried it, haven't you? I'm telling you the truth. I was robbed blind as soon as I arrived here. Now I have nothing. The thief glares at you. You maintain unwavering eye contact. Yes! You better be telling us the truth, otherwise we'll come back and spill your guts. Let's get out of here, boys. Smith's got nothing worth taking after all. The thieves melt away into the night, leaving you alone in your sliced open tent. That'll require a few hours of stitching to repair, but you're too tired to attempt it now. You manage a few more hours of fitful sleep before dawn breaks. Okay, this game is like hitting levels of like intrigue I did not expect. The story is captivating. I mean, I'm barely making swords right now, and I'm really enjoying this. I'm like, I love this art style. I love how it kind of goes in and out of this story and this exploration. There's a freaking skill tree, for crying out loud. Like, that's the craziest twist I did not see coming. And this, like, RPG element, this is just cool. Alright, so I have 8 action points. Last time I didn't really pay attention to that. This is the cost that it's going to be to, I believe, that's going to be to do these things. So, with 8 action points, I can... Claw-like hand grasps your arm, belonging to a man with a wild beard and even wilder eyes. I don't have much left, Smith. They're going to take it. I hear them all night, scampering around my tent. Animals, scum, why can't they leave me alone? I need a sword. I can't lose what little I have. Not again. Alright, let me check out some of these others. A broad-shouldered young man approaches your anvil. Although his ribs are visible through his skin and tattered clothes, he's still noticeably more hale than most of your neighbors. I need a proper weapon, Smith. Something that shows I'm serious about keeping order in this camp. Grizzled man limps up to you, scratching at his sacred jaw with a dirt black fingernail. I'm after a weapon, Smith. Now listen, I'm a good blade. I know a good blade when I see one, so don't try to fob me off with a half-arsed job. The man who approaches your forge is brooding, silent, his starved face and shaven head lending him a skull-like aspect. When he speaks, his voice is a hollow rasp, a blade. He glares at you, don't get the impression he's in the mood to answer questions. A scruffy young man slides up to your anvil, glancing around nervously and picking up a half-healed scar on his face. I found this blade in the Lost City. It's not in great condition. You think you could make it usable again? Alright, that dude's nice. I like him. I like Garrett. This dude is... He's just being, straightforward. I don't need to know more. What do you need? I don't know much about swords. Something weighty and impressive. Yeah, I like that. Okay. So he needs the length between 31 and 51. Required at least 2. How hard the sword hits. Stiffness required at least 2. Okay, so I don't know what I'm doing with that yet. One-handed. Okay, so first let's just work on our length here. Thickness. Let's see, it's X. Get this point make this point a little further along. Taper width. Thickness. Just kind of messing around with this. I don't really understand what I'm doing. Alright. So we're gonna get over to here. It's a ferrule. Blunt point. Keep the point blunt. The sword is not meant for stabbing. Oh. Okay, so... Isn't that supposed to be... Okay. Oh no, did I screw this up? Okay, hold on. I did screw this up, but... You can change your range of main abilities. The ability history shows all abilities you've used on the blade. Use this to revisit abilities, edit, or delete them. Alright. Right there. See, the problem is I don't know how I did the Booksmith's Companion. I just messed around and lucked into it. But either way, I met the requirements. Here you go, Garrett. He holds up the sword admiringly. The blade catches the light and a broad smile crosses his simple face. Won't be long now. Next bit of trouble, I'll show the watch how helpful I can be. The watch might not be as welcoming as you think. Oh, I'm sure it'll take some time before they trust me, but eventually they'll realize how loyal I am. Once I'm in the city, I'll put in a good word for you, Smith. Steel, gold. Man, I got a lot from that. Yeah, I'll take that now. Level up. And a new pigment. That's pretty sweet. Increasing the action points is probably what I need the most right now. Porter. Vendors give you a 10% discount on resources. Increase your diplomacy by 1. That's big. Reduces your daily upkeep by 10%. Increases your knowledge by 1. Bookkeeping is probably more important. That's probably the direction I'm going to want to go. Yeah, I can't check out further, but because bookkeeping is every day. All right. A grizzled man limps up to you, scratching at his scarred jaw with a dirt black fingernail. I'm after a weaponsmith. Now listen, I know a good blade when I see one, so don't try to fob me off with a half-arsed job. Blade length, really long. Impact, how hard the sword hits. Four wood. Two-handed. Forged to well-balanced point, not too narrow, not too broad. Some old tools, some steel, some more experience. Yeah. Yep, that's not a bad job. 16. So it's gonna cost me 12 altogether. But it's alright. It's what we gotta do. Alright. So first, let's get our length out. I wish WSAD moved me around. Dev, I would like that. Just as a side note. I think that would be a good quality of life instead of having to use middle mouse button to move. This is a long sword. We'll give him another couple hits there just to get him towards the end. Alright. Actually, I first want to just right off the bat, I want to work on getting him this too. All right. So it's plenty of wood for him. This feels right for a long sword. Alright. Now let's fix the thickness of this here. We can leave it kind of thick though. I don't know that I need to change the width, honestly. There we go. That's all he really wanted. So honestly, I'm gonna do the cross section a little bit, but this sword is about just hitting them with a lot of volume, I guess, so. I'm gonna actually make it a little thicker. Nope, not thicker. That's not what I wanted. Width. That feels about right. Alright, Osco. Unmet requirements, your blade is not sharp. Oh, I lost my sharpness? One more for good measure. Blade is not sharp. So you have to get that to 100%, I'm guessing. Seemingly. He takes the weapon in a practice grip. His confident stance and well-drilled movements speak of some military background, perhaps. Fair enough, Smith. Hats off to you. Not a bad job. What if I don't accept the offer right now? No. Oh, okay. Yep, alright. Yes. Wasn't sure if there would be like a haggling aspect to that or something. Can't know unless you try. Alright, so that was the rest of my action points. So pigment to dye leather and fabric never runs out once obtained. Precious metal for sword making, used purely for decorative purposes. If you've got it, flaunt it. Rusty implements past their prime, only good for salvage. Yeah, we'll start breaking these down. I just getting the swords up is most important. I need to start getting more metal though. All right, let's end the day. Well, we're doing well on cash, that's for sure. Lost City, the camp. I don't know if there's any benefit to going back to a previous location, but for now, we'll just continue on. The Lost City. Not all of Eren Keep was granted the Masked King's protection. In centuries past, the city spilled beyond its ancient walls. Now the barrier which traces the wall's course has left these outer areas to the mercy of the wastes. Nicknamed the Lost City, these crumbling districts have been picked over by countless looters, but rumors persist that there is worthwhile treasure to be found amongst the rubble. Seek out the scrap peddler, search the ruins for valuables. As the night draws closer, the shadows in the lost city come alive. Hidden eyes watch from high places. You scurry through the ruins, feeling as small and vulnerable as an insect. Fortunately, the scrap peddler is easy to find. He warms his hands over a blazing fire in an empty market square, accompanied by a sad-looking mule pulling a cart full of junk. He is an off-putting sight. Most of his face is bandaged, but the exposed areas are a mess of festering sores and flaking skin. You dread to think what the bandages are hiding. Not contagious, not contagious. The peddler points at himself as he shouts. One yellow eye peers madly at you through the gauze. Through the gauze. What kind of malady afflicts you? Do you expect me to stake my life on your honesty? Keep away from me. Alright, I believe you. No need to yell. What kind of malady afflicts you? Not contagious, I swears it. He doesn't seem to fully understand your question. Taking a look at him, his disease looks like either leprosy or a terrible skin condition. Either way, best not to get too close. I have many things. I find them in dark places. I sell to you? What do you sell here? Many things, much to be found for those who know. Can I see your wares? But it's too dark. The dark time is for taking my favorites, not giving. Come back in daylight so you can see what you is buying, yes? I should come back to visit the scrap peddler tomorrow during daylight hours. The option will be available from my forge. Don't take this the wrong way, but I'm surprised no one's killing you and stole all your stuff. Stolen your goods. Ha! I'm good at hiding. If found, I cough and splutter and pretend to be contagious. The bad men run a mile. But I'm actually not contagious, I swears it. How did you find all this stuff? The dark places call to me. I find forgotten things here. He points vaguely downwards. The mule retches as though ready to expire. Bid goodbye to the peddler. Partners forever and always, yes? His rotten grin sends a shiver down your spine. The scrap peddler is now available vendor in your forge. Search the ruins for valuables. The lost city has been endlessly picked over by scavengers. Your hopes of finding something are slim, but irresistible. Shards and rubble crunch underfoot as you trudge down empty streets. Sure enough, one by one, the half-collapsed shells of houses prove to offer nothing of value. Venture deeper into the lost city. You search for hours, but no luck. This part of the lost city is completely picked clean. Just as you were about to give up, you find a broken cartwheel lying abandoned in the gutter. It's not much, but it could be salvaged for wood. Nice. The sun slips low in the sky. The shadows of the ruins lengthen. Time to leave. A bell tolls clear and resonant from one of the ruined towers. Glancing up at the skeletal spire, you see a solitary figure in a dark robe, raising its hand in worship or surrender to the darkening sky. You quicken your pace. You hurry back to the camp. Unlike the lost souls camped among these black ruins, you still cling to the hope of entering Eren Keep. Alright guys, I think that's it for me. I don't think I can keep going right now. I've been recording for an hour and a half. But this game is so cool. There is so much more to explore, it looks like. I definitely will visit this more. If you guys find it interesting and want to see more, please let me know down in the comments. Like, subscribe, tell me what you think. I'm blown away. I'm captivated by this story. I'm really surprised by how good this gameplay is. And it has a skill tree. What on earth? Alright, let me know. I'll see you guys in the next one.